The game feels like it's in a good place, and they're building on that foundation now to add a lot of new and exciting features that makes me very, very hopeful and optimistic for the future of the game. Because if they keep on going in this track, I think that we will have a very, very good version of Hunt Showdown come the end of 26, and I think it's going to be very healthy for the game. We're going to take a look at the roadmap. That's what we're doing now for those who are just tuning in. They posted a roadmap for 2026. We have a little overview over what's coming in 25 and 26. For 25, we have new challenges, story challenges. We have a new event, update 2.6. We're currently on 2.5, so that will be the next one. And then we have increased player expression, new feature, and there's some sort of badges here on this as well. Which we don't really know anything about what this is, but maybe they will be mentioning that in the text that we're going to be looking over in a bit here. Then we have for 26, we have the wildcard condition Inferno, which is a weather condition that we've had before. Inferno was back in the old version of Hunt. We used to have that as a weather condition. Or was it just for an event? I can't actually recall.
If that was for an event and then they brought it back and there was issues.
We have returning tier 3 hunters, which is also something that I know that a lot of people have been asking for. There are some hunters that used to be in the game that are no longer in the game. And then we have event structure, a new seasonal model. Season sounds interesting to me. I mentioned this earlier as well. Seeing as we currently are working with a event-based system, and we have had some periods of time of vanilla Hunt in between where basically we're rolling back to a less developed version of the game. And I've been saying that I think that they should stop calling them events and start calling them the seasons instead, and moving into a more predictable schedule with back-to-back seasons, which is basically what a lot of other games are doing. So that'll be interesting to see how they do that. Then we have a match update, more hunters per match. Also very exciting feature. We've been talking about, I know quite a few times, that it would be interesting to see what the game would be like with more hunters per match, either in terms of more teams or even in terms of bigger team sizes. Fair fight, anti-cheat improvements, definitely always helpful, and I guess will be interesting to see what they do with that. And we have the return of the Bileweavers, which I guess suggests that they will be staying in the game after this event is over. Pretty cool, considering they are in my opinion, pretty cool new addition to the AI in the game, aside from the usual stuff that we have. Fair matchmaking, new systems for loadout diversity, and also improved social features. So yeah, let's take a look at the text and see what it says, and then we'll get back to it, I guess. All right, so roadmap 2026, looking back into the future of Hunt Showdown 1896. Our vision for 26 is built on a singular and powerful promise to the players to give you more ways to live, fight, and express yourselves in the bayou and the gulch. This means deepening the strategic and tactical sandbox while ensuring the fight is fair for all, expanding the world of Hunt with deep intentionality along the way. We want you to take pride in your achievements and your mastery of the vast arsenal. To that end, we will introduce more meaningful game systems for you to express yourself. We are exploring systemic changes, such as how we can combine consumable and tool slots to unlock new levels of loadout diversity and encourage creative builds. Furthermore, get ready for a significant addition to your arsenal in 2026. While we are not ready to reveal all the surprises, watch out for the glint of a new experimental firearm that harnesses a primal and destructive force, promising to open up entirely new tactical possibilities. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and the combining the consumable tool slots, that would be massive.
That is a very big change, yes. Evolving Hunt. The grim world of Hunt Showdown 1896 is ever-changing, and 2026 will see the return of much requested content, reintroduced with new levels of quality. The spectacular wildcard condition, Inferno, is in an active testing and nearing our quality standards. Its return will bring meaningful changes to maps and new AI interactions with fire. New AI interactions with fire, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We also heard you asking about tier 3 hunters. They will be returning in phases. While remaining tied to free progression systems, they will also be part of our experimental new unlock formats to add variety and rewards. Additionally, our Legends Returns initiative will continue, bringing back early legacy content with fresh twists. Battle-proven in Web of the Empress, Bileweavers will also return to the Bayou, provided with more crawling pleasures. Well, I don't know about that. Tarot cards have received a warm welcome, with 86% of survey respondents praising them, which means they will become a permanent feature on hunts. This is also a very cool addition, I think.
Yes, yes, very much.
And
So.
I honestly welcome that along with the other 86%.
Yeah, yeah.
When both return in future content, they will come with meaningful changes based on your feedback. Even better, because some of them are honestly a little weak. Some are probably a little bit strong. For example, we talked about like the chariot card and how it's very much become a camper incentivizing card. It's a cool idea, but I think that the card needs some changes to incentivize active gameplay and actually chasing the teams that you're using it against, not just sitting on the other side of the map. And
then cards like the Magician.
Exactly, right. So there are definitely some things they could do to make these cards feel more meaningful, and some of them feel less annoying. But overall, they are very fun and very good for the game, I think. Similarly, some of the deadly old friends like the Shredder will be brought back into your arsenal in limited form after being carefully rebalanced, which is also really cool because, like I've said many times, the Shredder, I think, was a very cool addition to the game. I always loved the idea of that weapon, but I think that the way they introduced it in the first place was ridiculously overpowered. I don't really see why they decided to make it a heat-seeking rocket launcher instead of just the saw blades. Yeah. So it was actually fine, I think, in terms of the power that it had, but it was too expensive to be worth it. So seeing that returning as what I assume will be a third scarce weapon, then assuming that they keep the Wildland and the Homestead after this update, which they have mentioned that they will do, it's going to be very interesting to have 3 scarce weapons most likely in the rotation. Seasons, events, and experimentation. Our events are also evolving. In the 2026 Lunar New Year celebration won't just be a DLC drop. We have built a multi-layered event with new stored activities to explore. New features will allow you to actively participate in the story of a bookkeeper, not a warrior, who became a changed man to survive against a skilled hunter who plans to escape and become his own master. It's a great story about the game of skill. We will announce more details on this activity soon. For now, enjoy a teaser of the main hero of that story. So just a very, very short teaser indeed.
Yeah.
But it looks like Cool Hunter. It'll be cool to see what that's all about. All right, let's see.
And it sounds nice, them focusing on the story and stuff too, for the people that enjoy the lore behind Hunt.
Seems like they are more focused on adding more endgame content and stuff to work on other than just the continuous game loop that we already have and I guess love. But as we have talked about many times, like having a little bit more endgame and Hunt Showdown could only be a positive thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking further ahead into 2026, we're ironing out some the final details of a true seasonal model. Your positive engagement with the longer battle passes has shown us that this is the right direction for the health of the game and the interest of Hunt players. Our goal is to create a seasonal structure that uniquely fits Hunt's open PvE corrupt nature, offering meaningful rewards and progression without a feeling of exhausting grind. And while we get so many great and at times crazy ideas from the community, we don't want to split the community by dramatically changing what makes Hunt Showdown unique. We want to experiment with new gameplay mechanics, and therefore are planning to experiment with new gameplay ideas in limited experimental game modes. Okay, that sounds cool.
Ooh, that does sound good.
That sounds quite interesting. We're pushing the technical boundaries of what Hunt can be, and in-house technology teams that are constantly working on creating better development tools to help us deliver content faster and with less constraints. We're actively working to support more players in a single mission, and we'll have news about an upcoming technical test very soon. Our work on onboarding new players also continues. We started with Hunter bots in 2.4, and we're building further with new tutorial changes and scalable bot difficulty. Scalable bot difficulty is something that I've been wanting. I really honestly think that they should add that as an option to play offline with Hunter bots with a selected difficulty level of your own choosing, ranging from like completely passive to easy to medium to difficult. for those who would like to practice or just record or whatever, try things out, testing, experimenting with different things.
Yeah, that would be definitely a nice feature for sure.
Whether that is what they mean by this is hard to say or too early to say, but yeah. All right, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Lots of cool things here.
Because like if I'm looking at this image correctly, it looks like we're going to have badges specifically for things that we do in game.
Could this be somehow either achievement or stats based? Is the question.
I think it might be.
Because if you're looking at these different ones here, we have like multiple badges which display different weapons or items. There's one displaying looks like a couple of terminus shorties or something on the top left.
Yeah, terminus shorties, firebomb, melee weapons,
prestige badge in the top right there. Yeah. You have a railroad hammer, you have an axe, and then you have 3 different rifle badges as well, which
yeah, it's a crag, it looks like on the first one, and then it looks like a rival or no, it's a rival.
Yeah.
Second to last one, and then the last one is a veteran.
Yeah. So you know, it looks like this is some sort of achievement badge or something, possibly something that, well, it says increased player expression, so I'm assuming this is something that you could display on your profile somehow, or that you would unlock on your accounts. And honestly, you know how much I've been wanting a stats system, for example, in the game. So if this is somehow tied to that, then I will be very happy. I'm also very much interested in a elaborate challenge system that offers increased challenges beyond just you know, the typical weekly challenges of like, you know, pick up a few bounties and extract a couple of times. Yeah, something that is actually challenging and more interesting and more of an end game grind or experience would be very, very cool.
And testing new gameplay features in limited game modes sounds fantastic. That
sounds like a lot of fun.
Way.
And maybe a very cool and different and new and fun way for us to engage with the development of the game and actually partake in what's going on. The update 2.6 new event, while we don't really know too much about that yet, it's exciting to hear that we are getting a new event this year. 2025 is coming to a close. It's already, we're already closing in the middle of November. We know that this event is going to end in not long, and so it's going to be exciting to see when or what the next one is going to be. And then we have story challenges, which also says it's going to be in 2025. So
oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
I guess it's safe to assume that that will be with the next event then. So
yeah, same with the increased player expression this year as well.
So that's going to be very interesting to see what the next update is going to bring. It seems like that's going to be a fairly big change for the game, honestly, with some pretty significant features. So
and I also want to point out again the tool, consumable and tool slot thing mixing together, that whole system that they're possibly tossing around. That is huge.
That could be very game changing and meta changing, not least if they allow us to somehow completely change our loadouts and gear based on not using just the gear slots or like the weapon slots, but also tools and consumables, possibly having items taking more than one slot, or, you know, replacing certain items, for example. Hard to say what that's gonna mean though. I haven't really gone into too much detail on that yet. And then looking at 2026, we have the wildcard Inferno burning maps back on the menu eventually. Hopefully that's going to be relatively early.
AI interaction with the fire sounds interesting as well.
I have no idea what that is gonna mean, but it sounds pretty pretty cool. Maybe we're gonna get like burning AI and stuff walking around, you know, like, I don't know. It could be pretty cool. It could be pretty cool, I think. So I'm quite excited for that. I was always a big fan of the Inferno map. It was a very immersive game mode, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see that coming back, and also not least to get a little bit of variety in the weather types, because you know, while we do have some weather types now, it certainly could be good to get even more variety and more unique atmospheres.
Definitely.
And we can only hope that they bring in the ash bloom at some point not too long after this. Returning tier 3 hunters is cool, I guess. It's gonna they did mention that was going to be tied to progressions for free hunters, right? Same as the ones we
Yeah.
have already, some more progression hunters.
And I know a
S
lot of people were asking for this as well.
yeah, not
So
a lot of people are definitely interested in that. I can't say that I've actually even done all the current ones, but it's definitely cool for those who want more options and more um, hunter progressions to work on. It's something after all. Yeah, seasonal model we talked a little bit about already. I definitely think this is the way to go for Hunt Showdown going forward. And I briefly mentioned this earlier today as well. I remember. I've been using Path of Exile as a example of what I have always or have said for a long time what I think Hunt Showdown should do in terms of how they handle updates. I think that the model of doing like these 3-4 months duration seasons where you can test and try out new content in a safe environment where you don't have to commit to it staying permanently in the game in the future is a very healthy way to approach game development. I think that
yeah,
they have an option to try out new things every season on a scheduled basis, and they can then freely take away or implement things based on how well it's received, how well it's working and performing, and how much people like it or not. They could
yeah,
keep
and
certain things.
the season model paired with the experimental game modes will make the development like much easier.
That sounds like a dream scenario if that works out
Yeah,
well. But yeah, having that option to test things for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever they choose to go with, 3 or 4 seasons a year, having a set schedule for whenever the next season is going to be, and the like premise that whatever you're testing this season won't necessarily stay forever. Some of the best stuff might roll over, and some of the bad stuff might go away. But keeping this event system with the pledge mark system that is already well tested and received, and everything else, then we have the option to have scarce weapons added over time. We already have the wildland and the homestead, which they've said will probably stay, or I guess they did say that it will stay, but
yeah,
most likely will be scarce. They now also mentioned that the shredder will
better.
be coming back, which I assume will be a third scarce weapon. And then they could over time test more scarce weapons or with each season and implement it as we would always have the pledge mark system, the underlying pledge mark system, which is required for this to work in the first place,
Hmm.
basically. You also have options like you could then have returning old events mechanics like the murder circus, for example, being a random chance to spawn on a map. That would be possible with a season system like this. You could have
Yeah, I would.
various event compounds like the Fool's Hideout or other cool um, locations like the Bileweaver's Nests, for example, spawning in maps on a random chance for increased variety. So there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, there is. And even like introducing like a big amount of new content would be more interesting with the season model. Like if they were to do a new boss in the future and
Yeah,
it took like a whole season for players to like do something for that boss to come in, like when they introduced Scrapbake, that would
exactly.
be fantastic.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of options that like working with a seasonal system just makes so much more sense. It also is a much more appropriate name for it because what we're having already is basically a season system disguised as an event system.
Yeah.
And because of that, because they haven't already fully committed to the seasonal model, it's kind of weird because people sometimes expect it to be back to back. Sometimes it'll be a longer break. We have these weird vanilla hunt periods of time in between where you just basically take away a lot of content for absolutely no reason for like 3-4 weeks. And it's just all over the
Hmm.
place. Like it's just weird. It doesn't make sense and it shouldn't be called events. So I'm very happy that they're finally committing to the seasonal model because that is much more predictable, much more stable. People will have a different expectation from it because they will expect it to be a certain duration. They won't feel this FOMO or whatever because they'll know that this is what it is now. And
Yeah.
I think it'll just overall be much better received than the event system currently. But yeah, more hunters per match. Interesting. Could potentially mean that we are getting the same situation as we have, but just more players in each match and more spawns. Or it could mean that we're getting the option for bigger team sizes. We don't even know which one of this is going to be or if it's going to be both. I think it would be very cool if they added a 4-player option or even a 5-player option. And the reason being that I think there is a lot of people who play Hunt Showdown. Or sorry, not
Yeah.
play Hunt Showdown. A lot of people who play other games in a friend group of, let's say, 4 or 5 people who wouldn't even consider picking up Hunt Showdown purely based on the fact that you can only play as a trio. I think this
Hmm.
would potentially open up the opportunity for a lot of people who are maybe interested in Hunt, but not willing to play Hunt because they want to play with their usual friend group to actually pick up the game and give it a try. I think it could bring a lot of new players to the game, which would be very healthy. But in any case, bigger player counts per match could be very good in general as well, I think. So we'll see what that turns out to be. Anti-cheat improvements. Don't know how much I have to say on that specifically. I don't know if you have anything to chip in there. Obviously, it's great to have improvements, but
Yeah, I would say it's just a decent update
it's
overall, always.
always a good thing. Always welcome, right? Then we have the return of the Bileweavers. I think they are a very cool addition to the game. They are well designed. They operate in a cool way. Definitely no reason for them to not be in the game, honestly, because we do have a
Yeah,
limited amount of AI in this game as it is. Having more sorts of AI, types of AI for like the a more varied experience
variety.
is always a good thing, right?
Yeah,
So nothing against that at all. I think that's cool. I think that's going to add to the overall immersion and gameplay experience, and it's just a cool addition overall.
yeah, I think so as well.
You can clearly tell that they are listening to the community feedback. I am personally very happy that I recently feel a bit like every like idea or wish that I have for the game seems to be slowly coming true.
Hmm.
Which doesn't mean that they're specifically listening to me or anything, but I think that it just reflects that they're making good decisions because the decision that they're making is resonating with the players and the content creators. I think that it means that people are seeing things happen that they have been wanting to happen for a while, and it means that they're moving in a direction that will be very pleasing to most likely the majority of the player
Majority,
base.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
both regular players and content creators alike, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely steps in the right direction, and they're adding a lot of what seems like are going to be very fun changes.
Lots of fun changes, lots of creative changes, lots of changes for more variety, more stuff to do in general, more depth to the game, and building on the
Hmm.
foundation that they've already laid so well, I think, with the last at least 3 updates, I would say. They
Yeah.
have now basically brought the game to a point where it probably should have been for a while, but we've finally gotten to a place where the game is quite stable, plays really well, generally has very few pain points and things that are extremely frustrating, which we had a lot more of, like I mentioned back in end of 24.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The game feels like it's in a good place, and they're building on that foundation now to add a lot of new and exciting features that makes me very, very hopeful and optimistic for the future of the game, because if they keep on going in this track, I think that we will have a very, very good version of Hunt Showdown come the end of 26, and I think it's going to be very healthy for the game.
I think so as well.
So yeah, there you
Looking
have it.
good.
Good stuff. Keep it up, Crytek. Well done. This is
And
exactly what we
thank you so
want.
much for the roadmap.
Thank you for the roadmap. Thank you for communicating with us. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're planning. I'm honestly genuinely surprised, but also extremely grateful to get more insights into the planning, into what's coming. This is extremely appreciated. This makes a big difference. I think this will make a lot of players feel more connected to the development of the game, and I think it's overall a very, very positive sign.
Yeah, I would
Overall,
agree.
yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing this roadmap. Thank you for the info. Thank you for the insights. And thank you for the fantastic work that you've been doing or putting in on Hunt Showdown over the last year, because it's been a tremendous change for the better, and I think we're finally getting to where we want to be. So
Yeah, I would agree.
on that note, I think we round that off. But yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. Thank you, Ashton, for participating in this as well.
yeah, no problem.